Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I ain't scared of no masked man lurking on the fringes, murdering all of my friends and trying to murder me.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Oh, God. Yeah, 'cause nothing scary about that, huh?
Are there, to immediately go in a tangent, Shaun.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this is our month.
Yeah.
This is the spooky boy month.
Is there any slasher anime?
Slasher anime?
Yeah.
Like, an anime specifically about one, monstrous or killer going around and slowly picking people off?
Yeah, you got a murderous entity, and a group, ideally at a limited setting, though that's not required, and they're getting picked off one by one, something like that. Obviously, it's a very American style, but it can't be only American.
Yeah, so it's tricky, because one thing that anime in general has a hard time with is good horror adaptations.
Yes.
There's great horror manga out there, and great horror light novels and all that jazz, and even great horror traditional films. But horror anime just has a rough go of it most of the time. There are plenty of horror shows that have slasher stylings in episodes, like one we covered years ago, Higurashi no Nakakoro ni. We only covered 3 episodes of it, but it is very much a time loopy type of horror show. And a lot of the different things in it feature like the yandere style slasher coming around. But nothing that immediately comes to mind as a classic Western slasher, right? You'll get plenty, it usually defaults to one character losing their mind and then just going around slowly killing people one by one. But it has a different feel, a different vibe, and it's very rarely the whole core premise of an entire show.
I see no reason why that couldn't work, and thus that's an untapped market, all right?
Yeah. No, hey, look, and if I am forgetting about something specifically, please let me know, because I would love to revisit something like that and cover it, and it doesn't have to be during Halloween, obviously, because, look, if this is your first time joining us, you probably don't know, but me and Remington are a little obsessed with anything spooky and or horror,
Yeah.
So...
I'm just saying, imagine, Junji Ito writes a slasher, all right?
Oh,
bada bing, bada boom. What more do you need?
Yeah, oh god, and I'm just picturing what the art could be for that. That is,
Woo!
That is interesting. Yeah, because a lot of anime horror usually delves into heavy supernatural, a lot of ghosts and ghouls and such, and a lot of esoteric third-party effects like plagues, illnesses, group madness. But an individual slasher, I just can't think of one off the top of my head.
Well, listeners, if there are any anime slashers out there, let us know.
Yes, and they may just tell us to revisit Higurashi, which we kind of need to do. We only watched a couple episodes, and you weren't super impressed with the first couple episodes, so and that is quite literally one of the more beloved little horror anime franchises out there. But yeah, so no, sorry to say, no slashers today, but I do have something that is classic in the horror sphere.
Okay, all right.
Because we're doing a proper horror anime this week.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, in terms of, man, what is the one big monster that everybody loves, and you can't really have Halloween without?
The Bussy Man.
Okay. That's not a horror. That's somebody's very specific fetish.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Look, we've got plenty of monster fuckers in our audience. I'm aware of that. But, and that being a monster fucker does apply to this, but it is a very vanilla monster fucker take.
Let's see, thing you can't do without, if we're talking monsters, I don't know, maybe a vampire?
Yay, there you are,
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Because, Rem, if there's one thing that regularly pops up in anime, horror, not horror, whatever, it's, and, like, this is an international thing, not just an anime thing, but man, is it very prevalent in anime. Anime in Japan in general love vampires. Vampires
Yeah.
are, like, they are a very popular monster because, let's be honest, vampires are kind of like the sexy monster.
Certainly. Shout out to Anne Rice, who's they were sensual before Anne Rice, but Anne Rice was like, no, they're real horny.
Yeah, I mean, like, Bram Stoker's original Dracula is very much kind of a horny story if you look at it in a certain way. And people took that concept and just fucking ran wild with it. But you gotta remember, vampires are kind of still supposed to be a scary horror thing. The idea of an undead, powerful monstrosity sneaking in places to drain you of your very life essence, that's not pleasant to think about. That's kind of terrifying. So one thing we have no shortage of, Rem, is plenty of vampire-themed anime. And I have found one that was it's classified as a horror, and is one that has been in the back of my mind ever since I was a young lad. Because, Rem, do you remember the days of Blockbuster?
Yes, I remember the days.
Yeah, for all of our young baby audience members who don't know, Blockbuster was like Netflix, but you'd have to go to a store and physically pick out the stuff you want.
Yep.
And back in the day, I would very regularly do like once a week trips to the Blockbuster with my family to either pick out a game or a movie or a show or what have you, so that I could have something specific I could watch or play at home. Because, oftentimes renting things was way more affordable than just buying whatever you wanted.
Sure.
And this might be a very specific thing for me alone, but I distinctly remember young me going to the Blockbuster, occasionally looking for anime things, and usually being disappointed because there weren't, many options, because this was in the time period where anime was far more niche than it is now.
Yeah.
But one of the things in like the more aged up section of the adult of the Blockbuster was a lot of like the violent / horror-esque anime films from the 80s to 90s, essentially.
All right. Okay.
And one that always stood out to me is one that I was like, oh, maybe I would like to watch that, but I wasn't really allowed to at the time because, well, let's face it, I was probably only around 8 or 9 at the time.
Yeah.
And, my mom, while my mom let me do basically whatever I wanted, had some limitations on what media I was allowed to consume because, you gotta kind of have some responsibility with what your kids watch, whether it's good or scary or whatever. Dancing Fruit is not a great replacement for parenting, y'all. And this movie was always prevalent, and I was like, man, maybe I should give that a watch. And I was only recently reminded about it when a conversation with with the vampire I live with, Dylan. He brought it up, and I was like, oh yeah, haven't seen that. That's one of the few things I haven't seen. But I distinctly remember it. So yeah, let me quickly watch it and see if it'll be fun for a Halloween episode. And then I quickly realized, Rem, there are 2 movies with the exact same title. And that's on purpose.
Jesus.
Because the film we're going to be talking about today, Remington, is Vampire Hunter D.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, well, hey, wonder what the D stands for. we talked about it being sexy and all. And the one I grew up with was, like, always seeing was Vampire Hunter D from the year 2000 specifically. Because, like, the case was very iconic. It was always on a shelf, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of weird and edgy and spooky looking. But I, of course, never got to it. And then imagine my surprise when I start looking into it, doing my research for the show, and realizing, hey, wait a minute, there are 2 film adaptations of this. And I was like, oh, are they just remakes of the other? Because that can happen from time to time. No, it gets more complex than that, Rem. So Vampire Hunter D was a series of light novels that eventually got a couple film adaptations and some manga adaptations. But the two films that I was confused by is like a first film and then a sequel film, but they're so disconnected that you could technically watch either of them in any order, even though they are like in a specific timeline. Because
All right. Well, I suppose two questions, Sean. One,
Yes.
which one's better? Two, which one am I watching? And hopefully those are the same answer.
Well, Rem, I think that'll have to be up to you to decide ultimately, because we'll probably cover both at some point, because why not? But mostly I was like, okay, which one do I show you? Because that's a little hard to that's a little hard to quantify, considering the fact that this is an older franchise. It's been around for a while, but it's all obviously not like the most prolific, most popular vampire anime media out there, because you didn't immediately recognize it when I told you the name of it. Right?
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of looking, trying to figure out which film would be best to watch, what the general consensus is on it. A lot of people insisted to like read the manga or read the books instead, because that's what happens when you talk about film adaptations usually.
Sure.
And by and large, most people say that the 2000 movie is the one to watch, and you don't need to watch the first one.
All right, let's do it. We don't need to watch the first one. Seems pretty open and shut.
But Rem, you know me. It just would feel wrong watching the second one and then going back to watch the first one. It just wouldn't sit well with me. But that being said, there are still a lot of people who really enjoy this first one. And I'm going to say this as well, Rem. The whole setting and concept is not something I've really thought about or seen before. Because, Rem, this is a horror vampire movie about a vampire hunter. But it's also a sci-fi spaghetti western?
Oh no! A vampire Nosferatu has hit Cowboy Bebop. Oh fuck!
It is kind of that vibe a little bit, but less space and more like post-apocalypse. Let's say.
Okay, sure.
Because this film takes place around just a shy 10,000 years in the future.
Oh yeah. Well, hey man, that's hopeful. That's pretty optimistic.
Yeah. Where monsters and creatures of the night wander the land, and there are laser guns and cybernetic horses. And it is about our main character, D, who is the enigmatic vampire hunter, traveling from town to town, Western style, dealing with various vampire threats. And each individual story or film is like one isolated adventure, with him being like the common factor. Kind of like a James Bond type of situation, but with vampire hunting and spaghetti western in space.
I have no idea what to expect anymore.
Hey, dog, neither did I when I started watching it. And I was like, yeah, you know what? And it's been a while since we've done something truly classic and retro. So, why not watch a movie that aired a couple days before Christmas in 1985?
Hell yeah. I mean, hey, let's do it. All right. Maybe it's great. It's a wacky, zany premise.
Yeah.
But Sean, some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. Why not?
Why not? Sometimes some might say a vampire western isn't enough. Sometimes you gotta have the sci-fi elements.
Yeah.
So, yeah, without further ado, let's go watch Vampire Hunter D. And we are back after watching the entirety of the 1985 sci-fi cowboy vampire movie, Vampire Hunter D. So Rem, what do you think? You ready to go to the space future where vampires are abound and creatures of the night destroy your mechanical horses?
Sean, I don't know if I've ever had to double check this much that I was watching the right thing.
Yes. Because, that's fair. Because the original Vampire Hunter D from 1985 is called that. But the sequel film, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, was just brought over here as simply Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah, and then I pulled it up, and then the cover on the website I was using did not look promising. It And then I start watching, and I'm like, wait, is this... multiple times I had to check. I was like, I'm watching... This isn't like a made-for-TV rehash of it or something, right? I'm watching it. I'm actually watching it. I had to double check repeatedly.
Yeah.
Because this movie doesn't feel real very often, and I mean that in a lot of ways.
Well, I can't wait for you to tell me exactly what you mean, even though I might have a sneaking suspicion or two.
First, I can only find the dub. Everywhere I looked, only the dub. So that's what I watched.
That's great. A 1985 dub. I'm sure that's lasted well.
It was a wild ride, Sean.
Yeah.
All right, so we open up the rad opening image of a blood moon and a weird, strange castle. That's sort of like gothic gelatinous. I would call the architecture.
Yeah.
Melted gothic. There we go. It's melted gothic. And it just very strange. And then we see a girl is walking in the woods. She has a gun. There's what I can only describe as a shadow dinosaur around.
Uh-huh.
She shoots the shadow dinosaur, wounds it. She calls on her horse, Luke. Luke shows up. They go to the dino. She examines closer. Oh no, Luke is killed by the dino. It's actually alive. Then it's properly killed. But then a werewolf pops up. A werewolf takes the horse away, also claws away this woman's cross necklace. And then, but that's all the werewolf wants. Werewolf is gone, and all of a sudden, this Dracula motherfucker shows up, ominously by lightning, and that's him getting shot does nothing. And that's the opening scene.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck. already I'm in love with you. Kinda lost.
Seems pretty straightforward to me.
So it's like, okay, all right, okay. Holding on for my life, and I have a vague understanding of what's going on. We see the world's an apocalypse. A man is on a cyber horse, which somehow, cyber horse never gets a name or really to do anything. Meanwhile, fucking Luke the horse, right, that dies immediately. Luke does more than the cyber horse. What the fuck? Why do you have a cyber horse, but you're not doing anything with your cyborg fucking horse? Why is there a cyborg horse if you're not going to do anything with the cyborg horse?
Oh, because it's 10,000 years in the future, my guy.
You have a cyborg... Luke, I'm pretty sure, was just a normal horse.
Yeah.
There are normal horses.
Yeah.
But the cyborg horse, don't worry about it. That's just kind of there, I guess. So, the man on the horse, that is D, and man, we get a lot of establishing shots. We get so many establishing shots. Boy, oh boy, will you be established in the setting and established with what D looks like, because they love to cut from one shot of D just riding the horse to another shot of D riding the horse to another shot of D riding the horse, and maybe a couple more for good measure. All of which, these are not quick shots, right? These are these take their time.
It is anime from the 80s. They take their time.
Yes. And so that is D, who's confronted by the woman. I don't really even now understand why. She tries to take his sword, and she has a whip that apparently has crazy tendrils. And I think this is the only time it's used. Which will be a recurring theme, where you'll be like, oh, what the fuck? And then it will never be brought up or mentioned again. They're flying by the seat of their fucking pants, all right? They they do not look back at what they have already done. They do not consider the future of what they will do. This movie is very in the moment, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So D immediately breaks out of the tendrilled whip, and it turns out, oh, he's a legitimate hunter. He's a real one. And so she's like, oh, fuck, I actually need a real hunter properly. It's great to hear, because I've been bit, you see. I was bit by the Count, and so I need help. He's very powerful and spooky. Will you help me? I'll house you and fuck you. That is part of her offer.
Yeah.
And D's like, sure. And so we learn the woman, she's Doris. They go home where her kid brother is shooting some like monstrous tiger rams. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But that's Danny or Dan, the brother. We meet the mayor's son, who's an asshole, tries to coerce Doris into sex by being like, I'll tell everyone about your bite, because I've realized what nobody else has. And it's that motherfucker who's a real stealthy vampire hunter, right? You just see him and you would have no idea. You'd have no idea. You look at him and you're like, he could have any job in the world. That guy could be vampire hunter. Really?
Look, I think once you buy a large, wide-brimmed black hat, you're automatically assigned the vampire hunter role, which is very problematic if there are no vampires around.
It can be a bit tough. So she rejects him. He tells everybody and tells his dad, and they have to confront the mayor and talk to that and everything. Dee tells Danny, he has a weird little thing where he's like, don't cry. You don't want your sister to see you cry because we are men and we can't let that happen. I'm gonna be straight up. This is an 80s movie. It is as sexist as you would expect many times. All right. Yes. Many times in many ways. It is. This movie isn't necessarily breaking ground on many levels. If I'm going to level with you, it's very of its time. Yes. Which doesn't mean that it's all bad necessarily, right? But there's not anything really I can think of in this movie where I was like, holy shit, this came out in the 80s? Every moment I was like, yeah, this very obviously came out in the 80s. This very apparently came out in the 80s, and there was never any reason. Even with the art and the animation, the art can look good sometimes, though often it will end up in that it'll get weird some other times, but often it looks really, really well done. The animation, look, man, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing then, all right? They were figuring it out. They were at one point with the animation, and I know this isn't true, but this is how it felt. For one bit, while Doris is talking later on in the movie, it straight up looks like the little mouth on her character does some like annoying orange bullshit where it's just a human mouth colorized. And I know that's not it, but it's jarring because it's not done the same as it has been the whole movie. And even within that scene, it's only half of that scene where it's that way. And I wish I could describe it better. It's weird as fuck. I don't know what the fuck is happening. Animation, it has its moments. Boy, it has its moments.
Mm-hmm.
And the art, a lot of it is evocative and a lot of it is neat. And even for the weird shit, it's spooky and horror, so it can be weird and uncanny and strange. So they're talking to the mayor and they're like, we're gonna take him down, don't worry about it. And the mayor just is like, all right, cool. Like a little bit concerned, but don't worry, you won't see the mayor again. We then get introduced to Dee's demonic internal monologue. This is about 20 minutes in. He has a demonic internal monologue. Turns out not an internal monologue. It's his hand talking to him.
Yes, correct.
Which you don't really have time to process what the fuck that's going on because they move on with it. We learned that there's going to be a women's moon the next day. It's just a monthly blood moon, I guess, is how they sort of communicate that. It's your period moon. It's a period moon. We get some exposition about the Count. Then some attackers show up. A mutant who looks, he's just a fucking guy, all right? They sort of do the X-Men mutant thing, where mutant just means you have superpowers of some degree, all right?
Uh-huh.
And so the mutant, his name is Ray, and then he is with the Count's daughter, who I don't think was ever named. I don't think she was ever given a name in the movie. I could be wrong. I was waiting for it. I was waiting to hear a name to write it down the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Maybe you said once and I missed it, but I didn't hear it.
Yeah, her name is Ramika.
I ain't never heard Ramika in my fucking life, dude.
And I have to attest, I don't really know what the dub did, so it's completely possible that they left it out.
Everybody else gets named. She hardly gets addressed. All right, she talks to herself in monologues a lot. That's what she does. So no characters interacting with her, so they don't have reason to say her name. We have the Count's daughter, and we have Ray the mutant, and we learn that Ray's power is that he can warp space and time. That sounds pretty powerful, doesn't it, Shaun?
Oh yeah, very.
Specifically at will. At will, he can warp space and time.
Yep.
He does it once. In this moment when we learn about it, that's the only time it happens. Later on, you think it might happen because later on, we get, it's the time bewitching incense, is what they call it. And you're like, oh, is this going to be some weird, like, time stopping something or other, right? No, it's a light. It's just a light. So the ability to warp space and time at will that is used exactly once, and it's like, wow, that's insanely powerful. Never comes up again. Not a single time. So D fights him off pretty easily. The hunter goes to the castle. D goes to the castle, easily floats across the giant chasm. And then, as soon as he gets to the castle, there's a hall full of eldritch horrors, which he's able to ward off. Then he fights a pterodactyl man and a giant, and then he gets into a different room where a ghost jaguar shows up, bites him, and then he says, oh, fuck. He tries to stab the ghost jaguar. This is the first time he's on the back foot, all right? This is the first time we've seen D struggle with the thing. It's clear he can't actually handle the ghost jaguar. So instead, he just punches a wall out, walks into what conveniently is a room with Ray and a random witch. And I guess the ghost jaguar did not follow him. He was just like, oh, what I need to do to handle this ghost jaguar is leave. And it worked. So it did.
I mean, sometimes as a DM, Rem, like sometimes you gotta convince your players that there's something that they just can't deal with, and the option is to run away. You know, and that's just something you got to do sometimes.
Yep,
yep. Make it so that they don't feel like they can take on everything,
and then make sure that the enemies do not follow. And then
you know, ghosts, they're kind of bound to one place usually.
You may think, but Remington, you just described some very interesting shit. Him warding off a hallway full of very unique, very different eldritch horrors, packed to the brim. A pterodactyl man, a giant, this ghost jaguar. No, I'll be honest. I've been describing it for longer than it happens on screen. They rush through that shit like a motherfucker. And so D confronts Ray and the witch, and then they crumble the floor, and he ends up in cavernous ruins, and he finds an underwater lake with a couple of sirens who transform into Lamia, and are basically just kind of Hydra in this instance. Meanwhile, back at home, Doris is attacked by monsters, and Ray and is captured. We learn that D is a Dhampir, so he's a half-breed vampire. D seems like he's fucked against the Lamia, but then he just becomes more vampiric and attacks. I guess he just feels like like he's like he passes out or something, then he wakes up and he's like, all right, now I'm ready. The daughter wants to kill Doris, doesn't want her to be a part of the family, doesn't want her to marry her dad, and so tries to just stab her, but then D shows up and saves it, and runs away with Doris. On the way out, the pterodactyl man is back, stops him. There's a goblin with spiders in his back that shoots them out. But we see D's hand. He makes an appearance again, and he eats all the spiders. And the goblin's like, fuck, and tries to run, but it's sliced in half. And then the giant tries to prevent them from escaping, but he's all sliced up. But then we see that Ray follows and watches. We're only like 40 minutes in. We're at the halfway point. You would have thought that like, oh, Doris has been captured. Oh, fuck. Oh, Doris has been saved. That's the arc of the movie, isn't it? That's
you would think.
We could, nope, only halfway through. Only halfway through, ladies and gentlemen. Though I will say, Doris will be recaptured later, and I don't remember there being a scene for it. And I even like sort of scrubbed through, and I could not find a scene for it. It just kind of happens, I think. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it just kind of happens. Anyway, Ray talks to one of the Count's henchmen, and the plan was for Ray to be killed because he failed. but instead he's giving the time bewitching incense. And his response to that is very good, because he's like, the time bewitching what? Which is very funny because it implies the confusion comes from it being incense. He's like, oh yeah, time bewitching, of course, but incense? That's a weird thing to make time bewitching. And then I need to emphasize, it's just a really bright flashlight that vampires don't like. That's all this is. All right? You try to figure out how its name makes any fucking sense for that. You try to make that make any fucking sense. Once again, who knows? Maybe translation issues. I'm just reviewing what I watched, all right? That's all I'm doing.
Yes.
That's all I'm fucking doing. You can be like, hey, this thing you didn't watch, the books or something. You can be like, oh, but here's why that makes. I'm just reviewing the fucking movie I watched. And in that, it makes no fucking sense. Also, I do want to note, I forgot about this. It's worth mentioning. Rewind to when Doris is captured. They have a doctor friend, all right?
Yeah.
In the scene that Doris gets captured, I'm pretty sure it's that scene, the doctor is just black. And I think that's because he's sort of just being shaded off model, right? And so they're just accidentally giving him darker shades than they do the rest of the movie. But it makes it so he's black in the scene. And that's a weird effect. It's a weird effect. Just have him be a black guy for one scene. Are you people understanding around now how much of a fucking trip this movie is? What a strange watch that it is. All right. Is that starting to be realized?
I mean, in fairness, I realized it before I showed it to you. Like, I made the decision to bring this.
I assume, right? Because here, let me say right now, I'm talking all about how this movie is trash, and it is a fucking mess. It is. It is. Holy shit. But I did have a pretty decent time with it. I was able to enjoy myself. It's very enjoyable trash, and especially like even more enjoyable if either you're watching it with a group of friends or straight up if you're very high. If you're high, this is a pretty decent movie because it's wacky and zany and just a bunch of shit is going on and visual spectacle. But I have that opinion while knowing it's trash. But I assume that like at least like contemporary weebs, they're in on the joke too, right? Anybody who's like, oh yeah, Vampire Hunter D from 1985, they're like, what a fucking mess. Go watch it. It's a great time. If that's not their opinion, then we need to talk. If people are like, holy shit, this is truly peak cinema. They don't make them like they used to, ladies and gentlemen. Like, if that's their opinion, then they've lost their fucking minds. Or they watched this when they were like 6, as it was coming out. Those are like the options.
Yeah. A little intense for a 6-year-old, I think, with all the gore and viscera.
But I feel like if you were like 19 or 20 watching it in the 80s, then you'd be able to see that it's kind of trash. But if you're we'll say 10, all right? If you're like 10 watching it, then you're like, yeah, it's weird and it's like anything I don't understand or feel like doesn't make sense. That's probably just because it's like an adult thing, and then you get the additional excitement of like watching things you're not supposed to. But if 19 or 20, you should be able to recognize that it, like, story wise, holy shit, one of the worst we've ever fucking seen. It's a fucking mess, dude, and that's the word I'm gonna keep using because holy shit.
I mean, I will say, when I was looking into which movie to show you, a lot of people were like, "Hey, a lot of the fans really like the sequel that got brought over stateside." Not a lot of people were talking about this first one, in comparison, at least.
Yeah.
And I was like, and of course, the one I saw growing up was always the sequel. So I made an executive decision, be like, all right, let's watch the OG then.
And I will say, hey, I think the dubbed performances do add to the feeling of enjoyable trash, all right? Because it's not even that they're actively bad a lot of time. What they are is they're high energy, all right? They take bold swings. But the script is just dog shit. So they're really committed to these dog shit lines. Which is great. That's enjoyable, all right? And plus, while we rush through all of the creepy crawlies and monstrosities, it's fun just to see what they'll throw at you next, because All right, here's this for a few seconds. Wonder what's next? Holy shit, a pterodactyl man? Sure, I guess. Why the fuck not? Why wouldn't there be a pterodactyl man? So there is just an interest in what they're gonna throw at you. And none of the creatures were like transcendently well done or anything. I wasn't like, holy shit, that monster is so original or well designed or anything. It's just a bunch of fun, weird little freaks. All right, and the variety is enjoyable. Continuing on with the actual narrative, because truly we are only halfway through.
Yeah.
Ray is given the time bewitching incense, and the mayor's son listens in. I guess that's an option. He does that. Then I'm not super clear. Somehow, even though it's given to Ray, all right, it's given to Ray. Ray has it, but the mayor's son, who just learned about it, is somehow able to switch it with a fake. We don't see that happen. It just occurs, apparently, because when Ray goes to use it in a fight versus D, nothing happens. And then D cuts Ray's hands off, and sort of leaves him for dead, but doesn't kill him. Just all around strange moment, kind of, right? Meanwhile, the doctor meets Doris, and they're going to some good hiding spot, but the Count's daughter is on the path. And as it turns out, oh no, the doctor has been turned into a vampire. He's evil. He steals the whip and also swipes Doris's tit. This is a horny movie as well. Look, it's 80s. It's so everything you think of when you think of 80s trash, this movie is. All right?
Yeah.
And then the doc is like, I'm slightly changing the dialogue, but way less than you think. The doc is like, I'm evil now, and oh man, I want to fuck Doris, even though I've been a father to her for years.
Becoming a vampire makes you horny. What can you do?
Multiple moments in this movie, I just don't know what to do with what I'm seeing. I don't know what to do with what I'm processing, right? It's like I'm being handed visual media, and I'm just like, I don't. What do I do with this, mentally or emotionally?
Yeah, it's also very funny how he is also just then immediately killed.
Yeah, Doctor then immediately killed. Also, we didn't even really get to see how the Doctor turned. He was like going to be captured when Doris was first captured, but Doris said, "Hey, don't capture the Doctor or my brother, just me." And they were like, "All right, deal." So that also just a big thing that happened off screen. Then he immediately dies, and then the daughter is like, "Now I'm gonna kill you, so you can't marry my dad, Doris." And Doris is like, "I don't want to marry your dad." And the daughter's like, "Holy shit." All right, well, then maybe I can let you live, I guess. But then, oh no, a bright, blinding light that's held by the mayor's son, and the mayor's son shows up, and he's like, I'm still horny too, and so I'm here to be horny. And, but before he can do anything, he's shot and falls off a cliff, and he was shot by the little brother, Dan, who Dee had saved. Dan was also kidnapped by Ray. That's why they had a confrontation. That also, I'm pretty sure, happened off screen. A lot of plot progression happens off screen. I would argue most. You're just kind of told, all right, well, now we have to do this, because as we all know, this thing happened. It's like, oh, did we know that? Were we aware? So yeah, Mayor's son falls off a cliff after being shot. He's fucked. Everybody's reunited. Dope. Cool. And then, turns out that, Ray lived, and Ray was able to get the incense. So now he confronts Dee with the incense, and, he cuts off his hand, and I guess kills him. It doesn't look like he kills him, but I guess he does. And leaves him for dead. And then the monstrous hand that was cut off finds Dee and is able to revive him by eating dirt. I don't know what the fuck is happening in this scene, because it's like the hand is like, oh fuck, fucking blood slime is after us. I gotta think of something quick. So it just starts munching on a bunch of dirt, like a lot of dirt. And I guess we're supposed to know. we're supposed to be like, yeah, of course.
I assume that's a detail in the novel that didn't exactly get poured into the film.
So he's all there. He's like, "Come on, you son of a bitch!" And then the blood slime attacks, and he's revived. The dirt has revived him. His hand eating dirt. That's the way you revive a Dampier. We all know this. We all know the lore. And so D is back, I suppose. Cool. Then there's some drama going on with the baddies. It really doesn't matter. You also notice I haven't mentioned the Count doing much of anything. That's because he doesn't do much of anything until the finale. They show the same shots of him for the most part. Most of his screen time is the exact same pose, with very minimal animation on it. So now that D is alive, he's ready to kick some ass. It was during this time that Doris got kidnapped and her brother is going to try to save her. Once again, pretty sure all that just happened off screen. Which feels like it's kind of important because it is main plot. But
yeah, I think it happened after, like, in between D getting his ass kicked and, being revived, essentially. Because they just didn't have a scene where it actually happened.
Yeah, but you need a scene for it to happen because it's very important. If you cut from, oh, fuck, my hand has been cut off and I've been left for dead, and then the following scene is my hand coming back and me being revived, it almost feels like that's just kind of, like there was a brief fade to black kind of thing, but it almost feels like, not a ton of time has passed. Not much has gone on. So Dan tries to save his sister and just gets yeeted off. They're also, now they are no longer in the castle, it seems. Rather, they are in a sci-fi megastructure.
Oh, that's part of the castle.
It looks categorically different than any part of the castle we have seen. So Dan fails, but he's saved. Who is he saved by? He's saved by what? Ray? Crazy, because Ray feels betrayed by the Count, so Ray decides to confront the Count, immediately dies because Count has super telekinesis, the greatest power of all when you are short on budget. Because how do you use your power? We'll just create a color around him, and that's how we know the power is being used. It's like, should we even, like, maybe have his hands be gesturing or something? Nah. Just he can be a PNG for all we care. He's using telekinesis. So Ray is killed. Then the Count goes to bite Doris, which, forgive me, but this all was caused because she's been bit. She was bit, all right? The Count, he bit her. That's how it all began. Does he need to bite again? We don't see the wound again. The wound is gone. Was it healed by D in the interim?
I mean, in fairness, Rem, that is kind of what happened in OG Bram Stoker Dracula as well. Had to be bitten multiple times. Sure, but they make it seem like one is enough in this. I don't really know what's going on, but sure. So goes to bite, but then D stops him, and then D versus Count, they fight mostly through telekinesis and D's sword. D gets his ass kicked for a minute before then being like, actually, I have telekinesis too. Get pranked. I got my ass kicked for a while just for this moment, I guess, just for the reveal. And so he ends up killing the Count. Everything is starting to crumble around them now. The daughter is like, we learned that she was Dampier too, but she's like, I am still nobility, and thus I must make the noble decision. So she just dies? She just stays there and dies, I guess. That's the noble decision. And D leaves with the others, and then just heads out a little while later, goes off on more adventures. Doris and Dan are like, goodbye, we love you so much. And then it ends truly in the only way it could, with a lot of shots of D as he's riding a horse. What the fuck was this?
Look, this is a fun movie, all right? This is a fun movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so trash. It's so trash. It's the story is just, oh my god, it's incoherent. It's fucking incoherent, Mike. What it feels like, right, is if before trying to successfully abridge things was popular, like an 80s corporate exec watched, we'll use like an Inuyasha as an example, all right? And was like, I think we could fit the first season of Inuyasha into 80 minutes. And someone was like, how would you plan on doing that? It's like, just take a little bit of every episode, I guess. It's like, is that the best method to do that? It's like, yeah, I don't know. We'll take just a couple minutes from every episode and then around 80 minutes, bada bing, bada bam, movie. It's like, well, feels like that will be a very jarring experience. And indeed, it was. That's what it feels like, right? That's this. Holy shit! And then even there's sometimes like I'll watch an older movie or like even that you've shown me an older anime, and I'm like, look, a lot of this is very dated, and even like very often the story structures just aren't quite there yet. But it's still like I'm like, yeah, there's a reason that while it's super dated in all these ways, right? In these specific ways, it holds up beautifully. Ghibli is often in that category. We got like an Akira in that category. This extremely dated. It is entertaining, but it doesn't have anything to sort of like take into the modern day. All right. It's just good for a trashy brain off evening and not much more than that.
Yeah, it was a 282-page book, by the way.
So you can look, man. That's not an insane amount of pages for an 80-minute movie. You can adapt that. I don't know why they adapted it this way. Genuinely, probably the bewildering decision is to have Doris be saved at the halfway point and then have Doris be captured again off screen. Like, just keep her captured. Just keep her captured, brother. It's okay. It'll be way more coherent that way.
Oh god.
Yeah, so watching this, it's, man, one hell of an experience. It's a lot. It is a lot. And overall, I think I enjoyed it. Despite its many flaws, many of which are enjoyable, some of which, like the rampant sexism, are less enjoyable.
Oh, you're not a fan of the rampant sexism, Rem? I thought that was your jam. I thought that was your bread and butter.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I'm not as red pilled as you are yet. Not yet. All right.
Okay. All right.
Shaun has been trying to convince me to start another kind of podcast, and I'm like, I don't know about that, man.
I have done nothing of the sort, you bastard.
But yeah, so overall, look, it's a fun time. I think if you enjoy trashy 80s spooky shit, man, this is perfect for you, all right?
So Dylan?
Yeah. Oh, I think Dylan would have a great time. I think Dylan would have a very, very good time with this. If you're like, I would compare it, if it were a slasher franchise, it would easily be Friday the 13th. But even then, I'm like, it's even less coherent. It's so, oh, fuck.
You're telling me that the spaghetti western sci-fi post-apocalyptic vampire movie is incoherent?
And here's the thing, most of that just isn't relevant. Like, there's a lot going on there. Most of it just isn't. Most of it doesn't matter. It's like the western elements, not really. He has a horse and a gun, but he doesn't fight with the gun. He just uses a sword, which isn't very western. He uses a sword and magic, which is neither sci-fi nor western. The sci-fi and western elements are just sort of planted on and largely ignored. And yet, I like, genuinely, I tell people, like, it is as crazy as its pitch, but not for the reasons of its pitch. Like, it being a vampire sci-fi western has very little to do with how fucking wild this movie is.
Well, hey, maybe more will be explained in the next film. maybe there'll be more of an explanation. Because, like, just for perspective, Rem, the sequel film comes out 15 years later.
I have to imagine that by then they were like, hey, what if we were what his story was this time. And so I have to imagine that the next one is higher quality, even though it's very possible that it's less enjoyable. Because this is pretty far on the sort of on the curve of absolute dog shit trash, what the fuck is going on, pretty good time. And if you improve the quality a bit, it gets worse before it gets better. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, hey, only one way to find out, but that'll have to be for another time.
Yeah.
Rem, any guesses on what the mouse score for this one is?
Holy shit. Okay. All right. It's a classic, and so it'll have some nostalgia. And it's a classic in that way where I feel like it'll be mostly people with the nostalgia who are rating it. It's not like this isn't one that is being recommended to all anime fans everywhere, right?
No.
Like I don't think it's breaching even general weeb audiences.
I mean, in fairness, I had to do like some fucking soul searching of my personal past with the franchise, as well as additional looking into what people thought of these two films.
I think there will be some people who enjoyed it trashily, a lot of people who enjoyed it sincerely, a lot of people, but old stuff also. I feel like weebs are more likely to overrate the new hotness than something older, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. And then it is, if we're being honest, dog shit. And I that's why I had enjoyment of it, all right? But it just is. Fuck, man. Anywhere from a 6.5 to an 8. Does that narrow it down?
No, not at all. That is, in fact, most of Mal.
I could make a clever argument for anywhere there. I will say 7.28.
Is that your final answer?
7.24. I keep wanting to round down, but I'm like, it's the weaves. And it's a nostalgic weave. I don't know. I'm not familiar. I don't know what the 40 and 50-year-old weebs think, all right? That's not what I'm tapped into. And those are going to be most of the people rating this fucking thing. Yeah, so 7.24. Fuck it. I don't know.
Oh, God. Oh, that's hilarious and also very rude to our audience that is older than us.
I'm not being rude to them. I'm saying that I don't understand them as much. And it's possible. Look, man, I understand the young adult degenerate weeb the best. All right, and that's just come from what you have shown me, from what we've discussed, from the Mal ratings I've seen from our audience. That's what I understand the best.
Okay. Well, in that case, so Vampire Hunter D had about 52,000 ratings, so not anywhere near as much. Like, I will tell you right now, the sequel had over double the amount of users review it. Just for comparison's sake. Hence why I thought this would be more fun and more interesting.
Oh man, have I taken into account? Okay. That, I'm not going to revise my answer, but with that in mind, that tells me that the new one is more popular, and if anything, it makes me sort of think that the new one is sort of the default. If people are like, which one should I watch? People are like, well, you gotta watch this one. And that means then that a lot of people watching the original are watching it after the more popular and potentially higher quality second one. And then they're like, what the fuck is this shit? So I actually suspect, though I will keep my rating, that it may be lower, possibly substantially lower.
Yeah. And it's almost like I told you that exact thing at the top of the episode.
Oh, man. You expect anything to be maintained in my brain after watching Vampire Hunter D from 1985? It is a mental wipe, my dude.
Okay, but with those 52,000 ratings, the original Vampire Hunter D movie is sitting nice and pretty at 6.97.
Oh, yeah, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, so you're off by a little bit, but yeah, it is, by and large, the reviews for this is, a lot of people seem to unanimously say, 7 out of 10, it was fucking awful.
Yeah.
Because, 15,000 of those 50,000 reviews are for 7 out of 10, so nearly 30% of the total vote, with, the remaining, with an additional 30% above 7 out of 10.
I feel like 6 and 7 out of 10, and you know, I should have calibrated this as well. 6 and 7 out of 10 are what you do when you're like, I have nostalgic fondness for it, but I cannot, in good faith, say that it is a great movie. And thus you give it a 6 or a 7, right?
I mean, yes, if you're going off of normal scaling.
Yeah.
Weeb scaling seems to be a little bit different, because, I mean, nearly 4,000 people did give this a 10 out of 10.
Fool. Woo.
So, that's just kind of the scale you're working with there.
Yeah.
Because and a lot of the written reviews are there are more mixed feeling reviews than there are not recommended reviews, if that puts things in perspective for you.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Slightly more recommended reviews, of course, but
Yeah.
It's a very silly film that is worth spending the time, I think. It's a wild fucking film with a bunch of wild fucking shit in it. So why not? Why not spend an hour and a half watching it,
Yep.
But 6.97. And, pretty low for mal purposes, but the people who recommend it do seem to be very fond of it.
Yeah, I'm probably giving it my own rating. It probably rounds up to a 6. Enjoyable trash, it's enjoyable trash.
Yes.
I had a good time watching, but also, what the fuck did I just watch?
I mean, isn't that what spooky season is about, Rem? Enjoyable trash.
Yeah, I suppose it is, Sean. I suppose it is.
That's why people listen to us.
Is next week our Halloween special, or is that the week after? I can never keep track.
Hey, and people are like, Sean already fucked up spooky season this year. I'm like, I'm sorry, gang. It's not easy. This one should be going up on the 18th.
Oh, okay.
Because we're super delayed.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So
it'll
the one after next is Halloween.
Yes. I mean, technically it'll be coming out on November 1st, but that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
That's fine. All right. So I guess the final question I need to ask you, Rem, is there any chance you'd like to watch more Vampire Hunter D with me?
I have no idea how to answer that question, so I'm going to plead the fifth.
The coward's choice.
I need to emotionally process what I have watched before confidently answering that question.
Fair enough. So with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoy Remington dealing with just truly complex feelings and emotions about the 80s, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you can access all kinds of lovely bonus material, including the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thanking this week? And yes, I realized I skipped the Twitch, but it's fine. I'm sure people will come to the Twitch anyways, because they like me and they like Dylan, and they sometimes like.
Hey, and because at least for the foreseeable future, Shaun will be streaming everybody's favorite game, Garfield Kart 2. Look forward to that.
I don't want to talk about it.
On that list, well, of course, we'd like to thank all of our bland bitch protagonists as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on to our yandere waifus, who are kidnapping us off screen. And on that list, we have. Can Rem talk about the time Elisha has bears maul those kids? It's a great moment. It's just a great moment. There's not a lot to talk about. Elisha just has, he gets insulted. He's like, hey, fucking Baldy. And he's like, what the fuck did you say to me, kid? So he has a couple of she-bears maul some children. It's great. It's a great moment.
What?
Hashtag just Bible things. Gandalf wants to take Shaun's hobbits to Isengard, wink wink. Renamon was Rem's Judy Hopps moment. Shaun blocked my cock. Shaun, why do you hate women? Hey, applicable.
I don't.
I've got my thinking, where's my yanking? I just got back from my honeymoon. Ryan Moody, week 25 of using my Patreon name to request Code Geese. Boring Siren. Spursy. That time I reincarnated as a podcast host and forced to weep. Hey, what's Shaun's email again? Missed it before. Shaun the Glizzy Gloinker, Super Soaker, Pope Groper, Bunny Pumper.
I hate all of that. That is the fucking worst. That is
really good. Really good.
That is heinous as hell.
That's art right there, alright? Swaraj Verdi, Jake Dent, Wolfire56, Leonard 98, Lucky Stars, the King of Moe, God, fuck it, no more trans Shaun, we want Chinese Shaun. I can't believe I made an account for this. Westgate Shaun, you have awakened your powers, now fucking break rules more. No, don't. Bento Kato, Lifted is right, Red Bill Rollins, Gooning for Kirk in Solidarity, My Little Horse Rem, Beach episode for and harem supporter, right Shaun? Red Venom, a Moe piece of trash, Sarah from the Shark Plushie, Dylan's Appreciation Day, Aisha Gudgy, Blarf, Macaroni Uchiza, Daniel Riot, The Danish Viking will conquer the world with Roronozo as my navigator. Shaun ruined my happy sugar life when I met him IRL and he just wouldn't stop talking about his favorite letter, Q. Super Zoo, Erica McCorkle, Sean Rollins, Linked Joe Girl. Shaun once gives Spoonman
pardon?
a thank you yank.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's been,
I'm not giving myself money.
it's been
stupid.
been there. Not only has it been there for a while, we have talked about it being there.
Like, I just heard my name so many times, I guess I just did not process that it was just my name.
Rem uses the Drums of Liberation Free All Weeps from Bad Anime. I showed my grandma and Shirley and she watched it all by herself. Did I turn her into a weeb? My Digimon is Empreg Red Pill Rollins. Daddy Rem, tell me a bedtime story about Sean's nut. Turban. Where's our DBZ review, you ginger fuck? Rem is my favorite slutty giant booba cat girl. Stacy's mom, Amazing Muffin. Watching Requiem for Spoonman at 0.5 speed. King Rich Rock. Pro tips out of context has run out of things to post. Will come back soon. Rhiannon Williams. Titan CNH. The Susanator. Rock hard for Geodudes. I walk into the lobby. Yandere Neko. Anime. What if you just said you were doing a revisit and then you uploaded the original episode again? Ponders Musica. Fern the Fern, G Bottom, AK Bear Trap, sorry for not changing the name, but new plan, I think I need to Batman my town. Rum doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. No waifu, no lifu. I forgot to change my Patreon name and made Rem call Shaun a bogtrotter until you brought back the Chef Namusco tier as a bit. Whomst, Cheese Monkey, Jax, Professor Fox, Jam Hands, Red Pill, Glizzy, Gloinker. They've latched on to the Glizzy Gloinking.
I hate everything about that.
It's always great to see what sticks, right? And for me, I view like what sticks is it has at least two people latching onto it in this type of manner. That's great. That's great. You're gonna clunk all those glizzies. Keep your glizzies away from Shaun, otherwise they gonna get gloinked.
I don't know what that means.
You gonna gloink those glizzies. Buckshin. Farmer Weeb's Rem question for the week. For Shaun's pregnancy, you having a gender reveal party? Yeah, look, man, that's more up to him than it is up to me, all right? I'll support him whatever he chooses, and if he wants to burn down California with his gender reveal, he can do so, all right? Ross Palmer, Glenn Michael Dolan, Cassidy, and now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. What are they gonna get this week, Shaun?
Oh, fucking God. You know, for as much as shoved into this movie, it's hard to pick one thing.
Yes.
But since you you pointed out something very amusing, I'm gonna give them a random mutant from X-Men.
Perfect. All right. And you'll get to use this power exactly once. You'll get to use whatever their power is one time, and then it's never brought up again. On that list, we have Melnick Suzuki.
You can have Professor X.
All right. Then we have Will the Thrill.
Cyclops.
Dominai Trigun. It will Red Pill even Rem.
Iceman.
Titaro asks, so TADC is Sword Art Online alkalization? Yeah.
A little more well thought out, if you ask me.
Yes.
They can have Angel.
Pulmonary Potter, the True Boy Wizard.
Beast.
Umbrasite.
Hey, good luck, Jean Grey.
Rem still needs to watch Bandorius, Maiko, and Ave Muchiko, or else Kasumi will keep singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Mimic.
That Mouse Girl.
Polaris.
Raccoon Operator number 42.
Havoc.
Everyone wants One Piece live action on episode 400.
Petra.
Sammy K's here to remind you that you just lost the game.
Man, there are a lot of dead/retconned characters here, huh? Darwin.
Roscoe.
Let's see. Nightcrawler.
Carver 271.
Wolverine.
Spoonman the Aristocrat is here for party quirks. Well, which reminds me, Shaun, I have agreed to threaten you with party quirks if you don't follow the official, unofficial Blue Sky account.
I fucking refuse.
Right.
So go fuck yourself.
Right. Noted.
Because I can't believe you're giving in to the whims of a random person.
It's not a random person. It's one of our best supporters who not only supports us on Patreon, but also runs the official, unofficial Blue Sky account.
And I refuse to follow it out of principle.
Yeah.
They can have Banshee, and let me tell you, the fucking image they used for Banshee is something different. It's something different. Have a look. I don't know anything about this character, but my God.
Weirdly, I've seen Stranger. That doesn't even emphasize the whack ass cape as much, but the face is in that photo is alarming.
Yeah, like the face is what got me.
Yep. Power Cell Ponders. Following count as an anime to make Rem watch.
Storm.
Monogatari is everything you ever said you want in anime. This week as experimental visuals.
Sunfire.
I'd like to start a petition to replace the word brat with kudere.
Colossus.
Mike.
Thunderbird.
Beethoven 1201.
Kitty Pride.
Tom.
What are you? Lockheed. Apparently it's an
It's a
extraterrestrial dragon
Yeah.
who was exiled on Earth.
It's I think Kitty Pryde's dragon. My knowledge.
You know what I just realized? It is a super cartoony design, and it just was not processing in my brain. The picture they used.
Yeah, see,
Those are his eyes.
I know about Marvel primarily from a board game. Then we have Silent Secondary.
I mean, this one I know quite well. Rogue.
Yeah, I'm sure you do know Rogue quite well, you fucking pervert. Miguel Delion.
Look, I grew up watching the 90s X-Men, assuming.
Miguel Delion.
Magneto.
All father offers Shaun for a purple pill to nullify at least one of the many red pills he takes every day.
Long shot.
And now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Shaun will take 3 very different genres and mash them up for the story of your life. And I will, I'll tell you what kind of character you play in that whack-ass amalgamation. We start with Fleshy Anime Podcast Guy wants ED the Anime.
I don't. Oh, wait, I think I know what he's talking about. Fuck no, dude. Are you crazy? No. God, no. If it's what I think it is, then no. I'm amazed that got turned into a public TV show rather than just a niche hentai adaptation or whatever.
Fuck?
Look, man, it's one of those ones that I watched 2 episodes of it and I was like, yeah, this is going on the list of things I'm not showing Remington because I have, some respect for you as a human being. All right.
3 very different genres.
3 very different genres. Okay. They can have romance to start with. I mean, romance can go in anything, but let's make it weird. Romance with a little bit of cosmic horror, and to top it all off, just a nice resounding keeping helping of shit. It's hard to find 3 very different genres. Fuck it, you can just have, let's see, romance, cosmic horror, and
2 subgenres, because that'll make it more hyper-specific.
Hyper-specific? Okay.
Yeah,
then,
subgenres will make it easier to distinguish.
Yeah. Then they can have they can have fucking a war movie, a war. Yeah.
And this is you served in Vietnam with Nyarlathotep, where you 2 fell in love, but it is forbidden love. Not because it is not because it's a human and cosmic abomination love story. But rather soldiers ain't supposed to be falling in love on the battlefield. And so that's what you have to overcome. Next we have follow anime out of context on Blue Sky. If Shaun hasn't followed me back by now, then Rem will do a Party Quicks next pre-banter, the one after next, but yeah. Ubauk.
I mean, they're gonna get, keep things spooky. They're gonna have, whatever subgenre Saw falls into.
Torture porn? Good old torture porn.
Yeah, there you go. And then something nice to cut it a little bit. They're gonna have, Jesus Christ, a wholesome slice of life.
Okay.
And then finally, just to keep things nice and colorful, they are going to have it, be a nice, good old-fashioned space western.
Perfect. Yeah, so this what this is you are a spaceport butcher, right? And we never see you with your murders. We just see you come home after a difficult day and focusing on self-care. Look, they don't realize that brutally murdering people all across this spaceport, it takes a toll on you too, all right? And so it's just a story about your self-care. We have, smack my ass and call me princess. Seriously, Shaun, please smack my ass.
Okay, let's start with erotica. Nice there. All right, go anywhere from there.
Yep.
Let's have erotica, and then Ooh, noir.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. I mean, there's a little overlap
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you know. And then finally, just to cap it all off, medical drama.
All right. You're a forensic doctor. Finding solving medical crimes. All right, that's what you're doing. You're solving medical crimes. And
So house but sexy.
yeah, your horny house. Your horny house. That's what you are. And it's black
Oh, that's
and white.
impressive because house was pretty horny.
Yeah, you're naked house. All right. It's
Oh,
a
God.
naked hospital.
Oh God.
Unless we're not, it's a naked hospital, and we call it the naked truth or some shit. All right, there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Last but not least, we have women.
All women.
All women. Thank you, women, for supporting the podcast. We know that women love the podcast, even if it's not reciprocated by my lovely co-host. Know that it's reciprocated by me.
Okay, listen here.
Hey, you.
And also, Naked Truth was a sitcom from 1995 to 1998.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, what genres do they get?
First of all, mystery.
Okay.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Mystery. Dark fantasy.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Sure. And then finally, musical.
It's gonna be in the realm of the Witcher. You are a Witcher who needs to figure out what's going on and killing beasties and stuff. And your weapon is song. There we go. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can send us an email over at animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do 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 do. We then get introduced to these nuts because they love to cut from one shot of Dylan's D to another shot of Dylan's D to another shot of Dylan's D, and maybe a couple more for good measure. Can any of them compare to the satisfaction I would get from a sphere softly inserted into the asshole